Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video from a different angle, and so here I am, making a video from a different angle. As you can see, this is one of the record shelves, and got the Beatle records behind me, so suitable backing. But today I wanted to make a video of some recent vinyl finds that I've just acquired over the weekend, and some today. So let's jump right into it, and I have them right over here. So the first one of my record stores out here, I call it the big record store because they have a really big selection, and they tend to be a little bit more pricey than the other ones, but they have a good selection of brand new vinyl, and they were having a really amazing sale. So I picked up some records, and I picked up two records by this artist. This is Thelonious Monk, and this album's called Monk's Music. And this is obviously a reissue, and this is on the Jazz Images label, and it's a different cover than it normally has. It normally used to look like that, where he's sitting in a wagon. But I picked this up because it was only $4, which is amazing, and it's a gatefold. It's got some really cool pictures. Cool picture of Monk there, and I will show you what the record looks like. Now, I will say this: I've never heard an original pressing of this record, but I know it's a classic jazz album, Monk's Music. There's the record, but it seems to be lacking bass on this pressing. I'm not sure if that's just how this recording is. Maybe some of you can tell me if you have an original pressing on Riverside, if the bass just isn't that prominent. But on this, the bass is very lacking, which is kind of a drag, but everything else sounds pretty good. But it's a classic record. It has John Coltrane on saxophone, it has Coleman Hawkins on saxophone, it's got Art Blakey on drums, so it's really just classic, just icons of jazz are on this record, so I was happy to pick that up. And again, for $4, you can't go wrong. Then I picked up another Monk record, also for $4. This one's called Way Out, and this is like a repackaging of another Monk album. This is a live record. It was recorded at the 5 Spot in New York in 1958. This one actually sounds better than the previous Monk record I just showed you. It's got a cool back cover there, and this is on Wax Time Records, so it's a different company that pressed it, and it sounds good. I have a bunch of other Wax Time pressings. They do a lot of like jazz reissues, and they do always a fantastic job. I think that label is very cool looking, very like kind of 60s, late 50s, early 60s, like atomic look to it. Yeah, and this one sounds really good, and for a live record it sounds exceptionally good. So very happy to pick that one up. Okay, then I kind of went out on a limb here, and I just picked it up because it was a good price, and I got this album by Beck. This is Beck's latest record. It's called Colors, and this blew me away. This is such a great album. It's got so many fantastic songs. The recording quality is excellent, and it's actually produced by the same guy who produced Paul McCartney's latest album, Egypt Station. Greg Kurstin, I think is his name. He produced this as well. And here's the back cover. It's on Capitol Records. All the songs are just really great. Just kind of like pop, I guess pop rock, kind of dancey songs, but it's so good. And it's obviously here on colored vinyl. You can see this red vinyl. And I will say about this pressing, it's dead quiet. I know a lot of times I've talked about in the past how sometimes colored vinyl can be a little bit noisier than just regular black vinyl. Not the case with this pressing. It sounds excellent. And if you just happen to not really have ever heard of Beck, or maybe you just don't really like the type of music that he makes, I would recommend giving this a chance, because it's, to me at least, it's a little bit different than his normal stuff. And if there's one song I'd recommend listening to Seventh Heaven, second track on the record. It's phenomenal. So check this one out if you can find it for a good price, and yeah, you want some new music. Okay, Then I also went to another record store in my town, and I found something I've been looking for a very long time. It's Bob Dylan, the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, and I already have owned a couple of copies of this. I have a mono copy in my collection currently, but this is a stereo pressing, and this is an original stereo pressing. And the other thing about this is that it's pretty quiet, and it's hard to find this record quiet. And what I mean by quiet is that not that much static, and it's just kind of a clean copy. For some reason, this record is very hard to find like a clean version of it. I think it's because it doesn't really have that much on it, as far as it's just an acoustic guitar, occasional harmonica, and Bob singing. So a lot of times there's a lot of empty space, which means that any noise that's on the record is going to show up. So this one is relatively clean. I'm not into like that whole rating thing, but if I had to rate this, I guess it would be like a VG++ is what I would call this. It looks very, very clean, but I just listened to it while I was setting up this camera, and like I said, it's the quietest copy I've ever owned, so I'm really, really happy to get it. And as you can see here, it's on the Columbia 360 red label, and it's just a classic album. It's I think it is Dylan's breakthrough record. It's got Blowin' in the Wind, Girl from the North Country, Masters of War, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Just tons of classic tunes. And this was the record that the Beatles really, when they heard it, it really like changed their whole outlook on Bob Dylan and just music in general. So yeah, this is a really welcomed addition to my collection. Speaking of welcome addition to my collection, I was hanging out with my dad this past weekend. My fiance and I were hanging out with him. We were driving back from my grandparents' house, and we were just talking about music and new music we've discovered or whatever. He asked my fiance and I if we'd heard a band called Fanny, and we had not. And he said, it's an all-girl group from like the 70s, and they're amazing, and you should check them out. So I did, and I absolutely am obsessed with them at the moment. They're so good. They all play their instruments amazingly well. They sing great. They write songs. They're really heavy. So I've been trying to find some of their records, and I've only found this one so far, but this is their debut record, self-titled, called Fanny. And there they are on the back. And it's two sisters, her and her, they're sisters, and then she's a drummer and she's the piano player, organ player, and they all sing great, and they all play great. This is a gatefold. Cool shots of the band in there. And this is produced by Richard Perry, and Richard Perry, of course, famous producer who produced Harry Nilsson's classic album, Nilsson Schmilsson. He also produced Ringo's album, Ringo. So he's just a classic producer. And this record, I will show you on the reprise. I guess it's reprise. Warner reprise. I don't know. You'll tell me. What is the proper way of saying that label name? I would say reprise, but maybe it's reprise. Anyway, it's on this label. And this record sounds really good. The sound quality is just so great. The drums especially just kind of like pop out at you, which is really, really nice. But the music on here is so good. They write most of the songs. They also do a cover of the song Badge, which of course is written by Eric Clapton and George Harrison. That's also great. Not on this record, they do a cover of Hey Bulldog by the Beatles, which is, stop this video now and go listen to that. It's amazing. It's so good. There's a live version of them doing it in 1970, I think on that, I forget what the show's called, but, it's called Beat Club. Look up Beat Club, Fanny, Hey Bulldog. It's so good. It's so heavy. It's so great. I can't say enough about this band. So Fanny is really, really worth checking out if you haven't heard them yet. So check them out. I also picked up at the same time that I got this, and I haven't even heard this yet, but this is she's got, this is one of the, she's in Fanny. She is the lead guitar player. Her. She put out a solo record. This is from 1981, and I just found this in like the dollar bin. This is June Millington. I haven't heard this yet, so just picked it up, but I'd check it out because I love Fanny so much that I'm sure I'll probably like this solo record as well. So, those are my latest vinyl finds, and hope a lot of you are happy because I got some complaints from my last video that it was too far away and you couldn't hear me, you couldn't see me, or something like that. I don't know. It was kind of it was a little bit. I was a little annoyed that I've been away for so long, and I finally made a video. There were some complaints that it was not up to the usual quality or something. I don't know, but I hope this is a much better angle for all of you. It's actually fun for me to kind of try to find different angles, especially now that I'm in our new apartment. It's fun to try to change it up every once in a while, and you get a different view here. You can see my Smile poster, and you can even see my record player, which is right over here. There's the amp. I have a CD player in there right now, currently, and then the record player on top, which I'm sure is not the proper way to set things up, but that's how I do it. Anyway, that's it for now, and I thank you all for watching, and please, in the comments below, I would love to hear anything you have to say about any of the records I just showed you. And that's it. So if you've picked up anything from this video, it's to listen to this band, Fanny. So make sure to do that. All right. Until next time.